Namaste and welcome to I Need a Hobby, a podcast. I am this week's host, Andrew, and to my left, he insisted on doing this podcast strictly in Warrior One pose, Alex.
Hello.
Don't just nod your head. You gotta say something. This is a podcast.
I wanted to do like a yoga, greeting, but I didn't know what a yoga greeting was. Namaste, I guess, is the only one.
And to my right, he's available after the show if you want to hug him and introduce yourself, Chris.
Hi.
So, listeners at home might be wondering, what is this podcast about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not always about yoga. Usually, me, Chris, and Alex, hey, we're three young guys. We work hard during the 9 to 5, but this podcast is all about the 5 to 9. We take on a new challenge, hobby, or activity every week, and we tell you guys about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, have we been switching and saying challenges, hobbies, and activities? I feel like we do say that. I feel like in the past it used to be, well, obviously hobbies first, right?
Have we shifted to more of a challenge focused?
I don't think so.
Have we done a challenge in 2018?
Have we ever done a challenge?
The beer mile's
I'm not gonna lie.
We had some peppers.
Yoga was a bit of a challenge.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Let's get started on.
Here's a bit of a challenge.
Sure.
Podcasting.
Yeah, geez,
apparently.
podcasting.
Yeah,
we had a
good
full
one.
episode, the true lost episode of I Need a
Such
Hobby.
poor etiquette of us.
So we
post an
recently had an
episode.
etiquette episode last week. If you're one of the lucky ones to hear it, hey, you're a dedicated listener. That means you download it straight when it comes out, 12:01
subscribed.
Eastern time.
If you're not subscribed, if you want to get our episodes that have errors, subscribe. You'll
Yeah.
definitely get them before we take them down.
Yes.
I'd say it was up for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
probably.
We're not quite sure
Most
what
of those, the
happened,
sleeping
I guess.
hours.
Yeah, most of those
Yeah.
were nighttime.
Basically, like about 40 minutes in, and we've paced back and forth. We've stayed up all night trying to figure out the issue here.
We've had
A
Todd
huge multiple chalkboards. Oh, what is it? What is
Yeah.
it?
Todd
Equations
is
everywhere.
bloodshot eyes. I don't think he's.
I don't think he's slept since. I mean, he's really taking it hard.
To
Poor
be
guy.
fair,
he
he usually has bloodshot eyes, and he's
Yeah.
always lazy. So I assume it's due to tiredness.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, you know what? I actually think he was just playing Fortnite. I think he was just up late playing video games.
I have a theory that he was in charge of the technical error.
That's true. Because I did tell Todd, like, hey, just honestly, like, it's a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
Just focus on the last 20 minutes or so. We said some terrible things.
Mhm.
He probably just wanted to mess it all up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know that is kind of his style
Mm-hmm.
he thinks that. Sorry, what I'm saying is that he looks good to us, right?
And he's
'Cause
in the room.
stayed up
He's
so
listening.
late.
He's listening.
Yeah,
He
he
stayed
acts
up
like
so
he's
late.
working
He's
hard.
acting like he's
Yeah.
working really hard, but really he just screwed it up himself. Guess what? More time to play Fortnite,
Yeah.
and he stays up all night.
Todd was telling me
I
the other
think
day.
he plays PUBG even.
Todd was telling me he thinks that it's a new market opportunity for us to be like an abstract, nonsensical,
Yeah, I remember he said-
avant-garde.
He said it was
podcast.
new art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think we did just find the root to the problem. But for listeners at home who are confused with what's going on, basically last week during our etiquette episode of all episodes, very excited to talk to you guys, always excited to talk to you guys about etiquette and how to act.
Yep.
We had some poor etiquette of our own. Truthfully, we think it was either Todd or it was a glitch because we do not know
Yeah.
what the real reason was. But basically about 40 minutes in, the audio started like weirdly skipping. And it was just tough to listen to. It was not the same.
Borderline
Wasn't pleasant.
impossible to listen to.
Yeah.
So
Because listen, we've put out unlistenable episodes before.
Sure.
And they're still
Our
out
first
there.
40.
This was like truly unlistenable.
it was tough to listen to. Yeah. So luckily we have, 40 minutes of it, which is more or less just triathlon talk, and then Chris's dinner table etiquette, which
Hell
we just
yeah.
bashed him for consistently.
Because Andrew just said, I've never eaten dinner. You sit at a table?
Yeah, so basically we might release that at a later date of just triathlon talk, but the actual episode was lost. However, to combat this from happening again, we are going to do a mandatory pause at what?
You see that?
Is that the sound, Chris?
Alarm.
We need to know?
This episode will self-destruct.
Yeah, at minute
So-
39, because we had an issue.
We're
at
basically going to
minute 40.
restart our software
Mm-hmm.
at minute 49. So if there's a weird pause at minute 49, or no, 40.
39,
Be-
yeah.
39, be prepared. We
Yeah,
just
we're
wanna,
just
like,
probably.
warm
I mean, we're probably going to count it down just to avoid the awkwardness of a cutting off mid sentence. You know, we can
Right.
just easily say, "All right, everyone ready? We have Chris with the alarm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This podcast will self-destruct.
We have Alex with the voiceover.
Yeah.
People probably think right now that we're setting up for some weird bit.
No,
Yeah.
this is the real. This is the bit.
Because the episode, other than the last episode, etiquette, the episode right before this was episode 102. The longest bit we've ever done in an episode.
Basically, yeah. Just
Not well
ranting.
received.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
All right, hopefully.
yes.
I guess no news is good news.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
Why do we put these episodes out?
We're still
Really
going,
the
guys.
bottom
We're
of the
still going.
barrel. Jeez.
Hey, I'm excited about
Todd,
this one for sure.
Butcher this one as well if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
But Alex, you want to talk?
Todd is just clanging pans together right now with the backdrop.
Alex, you want to talk real quick before we get out of hand here about your
My
concert
night?
this weekend? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got free tickets to Beyonce and Jay-Z.
How did that happen?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. How did that happen?
Someone I know has a friend who has another friend who works for a radio station.
Whose name is Jay-Z.
Yeah, his name is Hove, and they were supposed to do. I guess they were supposed to do a giveaway at the radio station for like 10 free tickets.
Did no one call in?
And it did. Something happened, and the giveaway never happened.
That was
So
like that.
this-
What's on your mind that I had a while ago, where I've been wanting to call into radio
Yeah.
stations.
See, I had a
so
friend.
This girl had 10 free tickets, so she was like trying to organize a bunch of people. So of course I went.
Wow.
It was great.
I had a friend who worked in radio and told me a lot of those are scams, and that they like the radio things, like they end up just giving them to people who work there. Sounds like
But
this
what's
is the case.
what's the point of that then?
Well,
Oh, I guess it drums
Just
up
publicity.
listeners,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but the big part of the concert, DJ Khaled performed
Wow.
for like 45 minutes.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
He was good.
Was it?
I think I can't tell if I'm in a majority or a minority here, but I have a lot of respect for DJ Khaled. He definitely knows that he's a big joke.
I think you're in a minority, but I don't have enough opinion to
I think the people
stand
that
against you
actually
here.
think about it would agree with me.
Yeah,
I
I'll
think-
A lot of
agree
people
with that.
see that he's goofy and don't even put any thought, and they
Yeah.
think he thinks he's serious.
I think he's easy to make fun of. Is all you know.
That's his
from,
brand.
from what I heard
He's doing
about
that to himself
from
on
what I heard
purpose.
about this show from you and my girlfriend also went, it sounded like he was playing
Together.
a lot of other together.
we went together, Chris.
freaking pissed.
Look me in the eye when you say that, please.
They said that he played a lot of songs that weren't his or that he
Yep.
had no relation to. So it's almost like
He
he's
played
like
our podcast theme song at one point.
It's
And I was like,
almost-
hold on a
Hold
second.
on one sec, and then yeah, what's that beginning thing that he does?
Another one.
No, before his songs.
DJ Khaled.
Is
We-
that what
we
he
the
does?
best?
He
We
does
the
a
best
lot.
music.
He does
That's
a
what it
ton.
is. We the best music,
Yeah.
and then like ooh.
but
that
it
is
sounded
good.
like he played a lot of stuff. So it's almost like he's the ultimate
He's
wedding DJ essentially.
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
Like pumping up the crowd.
And
or
it was good, though. Like, the crowd absolutely loved it.
wow.
And so when people say, like, oh, I can't believe DJ Khaled, what does he just get on stage, play music, and scream his taglines?
Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly what he did.
And in fact, he's the best at it.
But the crowd loved it, and it was awesome.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
was dancing.
That's cool. I like that. I think that it was the right situation for it, probably because it's like a Beyonce Jay-Z show. So clearly the fans are going to be pretty excited no matter all
Yeah,
right,
that's true.
Maybe this is controversial, but I think Beyonce could go out there and recite spoken word Speeding Bullet to Heaven, like Kid Cudi's
Yeah.
poorly received album, and
people
fans
would
would be
love
like, wow, that was so
I
good.
think Beyonce could go out and read a phone book.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
what
would
I
be
mean.
very well
That's what I
received.
mean.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it is. Come on.
I think a lot of her fans are just like fans of pop music, and Beyonce
No.
happens to be the best one.
No, that's certainly not.
I think there's
Beyonce is like this
she's
like
transcending
powerful
pop. Yeah.
image, like
That's true.
like
That's a
which
good
is
point.
good for her, but because
guess
of that, I
that's
think that
true.
she has a longer leash.
I'm thinking
Not that her music's bad. I'm saying she could put out bad music, and I don't think people
I'm saying
would care.
it's great that she's working harder than she needs to.
yeah, within her fan base,
Yeah.
that's definitely
Yeah.
true.
So anyway, what I'm saying is that maybe DJ Khaled, hey, guess
Hmm.
what? You got Beyonce and Jay-Z to look forward to. I'm just
They
hyped
just, like,
up
got
anyway.
through it, yeah.
That's a big
And they
one, you
know
what I
DJ
mean?
Khaled, like they're both in a similar genre.
Yeah.
Ah.
Similar friend group.
People like that are so lucky. It's like
He kept on like name dropping them, like DJ or Jay-Z and Beyonce asked me to be here. Like, do you
That's
think
awesome.
that's true?
yeah,
I don't
probably.
think that's true. I think they have like tour managers who are
Yeah.
like, oh, DJ Khaled's popular,
true.
let's throw him.
Can
on.
you imagine being an indie band, even a really popular indie band, right?
Oh, get off it, dude. People
No.
like pop music.
That's what I'm saying. For a really popular indie band, I feel like every concert you're gonna have to prove yourself every time.
All right,
But
that's what I was gonna say. I think this concert for two superstars, they didn't do anything. Like, I would have rather had Beyonce do spoken word because it would have been like, oh, she
Unique.
is taking some artistic.
Well, what do you
like-
mean? Did she just do single ladies and
It
classics?
just felt like any other pop music,
Mm.
I'm okay
concert.
with that. That's probably what her fans are looking
But
for.
what I'm saying is, I would want her like an indie band. Like you're saying, they
Yeah.
feel like they have to
they got to show.
they
They,
have
got
to
prove
come
themselves
to
every
play.
time. Yeah.
and make it like something very.
But it's
unique.
for her to stay in the limelight as the pop, she probably has to appeal to the majority.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And DJ Khaled's majority is just
It's just
people
me.
saying his name. Yeah. Which is
All
fine.
right. So you had a good time.
You know that song where it's like, what's it go? Like, it's like, what's your favorite word or something like that.
No.
I forget how it goes. But he was like, what's your favorite word? Another one. It's like kept on
Did he
piping
do
in
that?
with his taglines. Yeah, it was so good.
I love that.
It's like it was like a comedy. You have to watch it like it's a comedy
It was
show.
it was a comedy show.
It was. I was telling your brother the other day, I think DJ Khaled is like 30% a comedian, and he knows that. So like 70% he's trying to make good music.
Yeah.
The other 30% he's trying to
best
just
music.
be funny and build his brand, and it's working. I was
Yeah.
laughing the whole time.
Yeah,
That's
that's good. That's good.
Joel?
Beyonce tried to say a few jokes. Not funny at all.
She did actual stand up. They put DJ Khaled. Yeah.
She tried to say another one in between
No.
songs. And
See, that's what I would
silence.
like. Like I heard, John Mayer.
Yeah.
He like says jokes in between his songs.
I'm
Supposedly,
into that.
that makes me feel like, all right, I'm going to a show that's different than other shows. Like this is unique.
Yeah.
Beyonce didn't say jokes.
Mm.
She like asked people.
That's
to
what I mean.
kiss
That's what I
her
mean
toes or
about
whatever.
bands, especially in like house shows or something. There's always like the front man. You know what I'm talking about, Chris? The
Yeah.
guy who's like on the mic in between sets.
yeah.
They'll say something like a little radio person would say, or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
anything that'll make
Even
them.
just like I wrote that song when I was in a dark place. Like give me, give me
yeah,
a little
just
story.
something
Yeah.
that'll like make it easier for them to perform.
Or even just talk
But
about
when
the
you're like-
even just like, hey Boston, like
Oh, I, don't-
Right,
I, hate-
right.
I
I
don't
tried the
like when they do
lobster.
that. Oh, that would be better. Name drop something in
Yeah,
Boston.
yeah.
Oh, another funny thing about DJ Khaled. He was
Okay.
like he played his hit song, or whatever, and he was like, all right, yo, Boston, I got a good friend, Mark Wahlberg. Everyone screamed, and he's like, yeah, he's my neighbor. Sometimes he comes over. Another one. And he started playing music. He cut himself off.
I thought he was gonna bring out Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I think
hoped-
most people thought that. That's
Well,
really
the other funny thing
actually.
It was like surreal.
I follow DJ Khaled's Snapchat, and I don't usually look at it, but because I knew he was doing the show, I checked it out.
Yeah.
And he was just like, Boston, I'm coming through Boston.
Yeah,
The stadium they performed at is 45, 50 minutes from Boston.
yeah, it's not in Boston.
I wonder
Was
if
it at Gillette?
it was at Gillette.
Or
I
was it
wonder
at-
if
yeah, okay.
he had any idea that he was
know.
not in Boston.
But they all do that. Jay-Z and
Yeah.
Beyonce said the same thing. Boston, let's go.
I once went
At
to
one
a.
point, Jay-Z called it TD Garden.
Really?
Because there's like a line in his song where he says "sold out the garden," as in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And he goes, "sold out TD Garden."
See, that's fun.
not where you
That's
are.
fun. I'm into that.
I'm into that.
Yeah,
too.
I didn't
That's
mind it.
funny.
I'm
but
sure
it's-
he's done that
I
at
feel
some
like
point in his life.
He mistakenly thought we were in TD Garden.
Yeah.
He's just giving very specific.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'd be funny if he like mixed up some specific references. Like he thought his lines from like his Buffalo show.
Yeah, he thought he was like in Connecticut.
We're like, what? I don't know that arena.
All right. So you know what, Alex? After a long night of concert going,
Yeah.
fist pumping, screaming, another one, you probably need to just stretch out
So
and
the concert
relax.
was
Hey, I'll
right?
tell you what I needed. A little savasana.
I don't know I think that's the word.
That's like
maybe.
the sleeping pose,
Yeah.
corpse pose. I
No.
call it.
What about Havasana? Is that one too, or is it
Oh, you're thinking about a Camille Cavallo
Yeah,
song.
Havasana.
Havana, una, na.
Havasana? Huh.
Havasana. I think savasana is the sleeping
Is the one that I'm
pose.
thinking of? Okay, I always thought it was Havasana, but truly, I
easily
probably
could be.
am thinking about Havana.
Havana Unana.
Anyway, yeah. So we went to yoga this past week. In fact, it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
At the day of recording. Let's do the classic, right? What are you guys' backgrounds on yoga?
Yoda.
I heard you guys are saying it. You guys did P90X yoga?
We
Yeah.
did P90X
Yeah.
yoga
So
back in
when
the day.
I think it was after senior year or maybe junior
Yeah.
year of high school.
Yeah.
I somehow got my hands on a copy of a P90X video, and I was
Yeah.
doing that for maybe.
That yoga,
Yoga
is like,
X.
that yoga is like almost 4 hours long.
Yeah,
I
the
feel.
yoga
It's
is
so long.
incredibly
It's an
long,
hour and a half, I
which
think.
is so long.
It was
that's
very,
and very difficult.
very
Ours must have been
difficult.
close to an hour and a half.
I mean,
yesterday.
maybe it was an hour and a half, I think, yesterday. But maybe I'm like, I don't know. I just remember thinking at the time, like, this is so insanely hard.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that maybe I guess I'm speaking individually, but maybe for all three of us, yoga is a little more difficult for
Yeah,
us.
I guess-
We don't really have
Yeah, we're
that.
certainly not comfortable with it. We don't do it.
That's
though.
what I mean. Like, not comfortable. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's something that
See, I would
it's
think
easy
you're
to
good
work
at yoga,
into. Well,
'cause you're so flexible.
I am really flexible, but I'm like, I feel like my balance is really poor or something. Like I was struggling
part of
on the ones we did where we would have to like
Bounce on
she
one
made us
foot.
like bounce on one foot and then kind of like
Yeah.
pretend we're sitting on an invisible chair.
Yeah.
Like I was mad at myself because a
That's
couple
tough.
times I like slipped off and fell and I was like, what the heck?
I know.
But I am. It's more that like truthfully like I'm not very flexible. I think it's actually a weird thing where I think I have like a. I think I have really
rubber
good like
bones.
pain tolerance on my like tendons. Like seriously, I think I'm like able to not like I think you know what I mean? Like I think I have the potential to be even more flexible if I really worked on it.
Wow.
But instead I just like have no pain when I like stretch. It
man.
barely hurts at all.
Imagine a world.
See,
I know. I've thought Chris like
yeah.
not to call you out, but man, like Chris could not like
I am
straighten his
not
leg
flexible.
on any of the like
I'm
any of the
with you
stretches and
there.
stuff.
Well,
Really?
so I'll give a breakdown of my yoga past. So I did these P90X ones and was very frustrated by them because I couldn't do them at all.
It was hard.
And I remember like that was always a theme in my life. Like playing sports, you do like the classic stretches, and I like could never touch my toes.
Yeah, see, for me it was the opposite. I would always get called out for being like too aggressive when I would touch my toes.
So I've had phases in my life where I'm like, oh, it'd be helpful to be more flexible, and the P90X video was kind of like my start. In college, I did a little bit more. I did a couple my school would do these like sunrise yoga classes during finals, which were kind of cool. So it was like early in the morning, but it was like when you're studying for finals, so it's nice. You get up, you do it, and then you study all day.
Was there like an instructor?
Yeah, so that was cool. And then I've done like little like videos here and there, but and like I guess I don't know this was my first like long in person first class like in a place for yoga. Which was definitely unique.
All right, what about you?
Oh well, also I'd say like going into it, I was very nervous, but
really,
just nervous, not about like. I don't know.
Dude, I was going to say...
Not about like impressing other people, but just like...
For me, okay. For me, Chris, like, I bet you had the same goal as me. My goal in this was do not have the yoga teacher talk to you for being, like, wrong.
And you'll learn later. I think we all failed, but...
Me and Chris, like, multiple times, like, how you doing? And I'm like, I think I'm doing it right. Like, well, you might want to be like, dang it, no.
I'll save it for my bulk talking about yoga, but...
Yeah.
I don't like when the yoga teachers do that.
Really? I don't mind.
I feel
bad.
like she should have been... She should be better at like
I think she did a pretty good job
telling you where to like how to do the pose first.
It was a big
that
room.
was true.
Then, like sometimes they touch you and stuff. Like when my eyes are closed, like I'd rather you not do that. Thank you
I
very
think you're fine.
I
think that's part of yoga.
Remember at the very last, almost the very last pose we did, it was like a back opener, so we had to put the blocks on our spine.
Yeah, that's where she came over to me and was
she
like,
didn't even explain what to do.
No, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm there, and the block's like I'm almost on my lower back.
That's
which is not right.
Oh,
and she's like, excuse me, starts touching me. Which did not make me happy. And I go, oh! And she goes, I think you should put that a little bit further up. And I'm thinking, you should have told me where to put it in the first place.
Yeah, see, I think another thing is that so my brother like frequents this yoga class, and we were just kind of guests. So maybe she just knew that her clientele already knew how to do it.
Right,
Perhaps.
but a lot of people, a lot of the poses she's done already.
Yeah.
Like she did a decent job explaining most of them.
That one was really funny in particular because I remember I put it like, basically we had these two like yoga blocks, and one of them was kind of like a headrest, right, or on your neck, and the other one you were supposed to put on your upper back. And for me that felt really uncomfortable, so I moved it to my lower back, and it felt good, so I just left it there. And then she came over and was like, "Yeah, it's not in the right spot." And I was like, "Oh yeah."
Do you have an issue with pain tolerance in your tendons? Because that is not right.
Yeah.
So I definitely did the P90X yoga.
Yeah.
That was probably my first.
That's funny. All of us then.
Exposure to yoga. Which I think Tony Horton had, the way he does yoga is the way I would like more yoga to be. Piping in, or at least the way he is as a person. I don't remember how exactly his yoga was, but he like pipes in jokes. He's like has a good time.
That's kind of what you're saying about the concert here.
I don't want. I want DJ Khaled to stretch me out. I like the yoga. I don't like the idea of yoga where it's like I have to meditate at the same time. Not that I'm against that. It's just that I don't think I would do yoga.
I
agree,
and I will say, I would say with a lot of, I'm very sure that we are in the minority, and if we are not in the minority, we are certainly in the minority among people who do yoga. Because like I would consider myself like this past semester, I went to yoga almost every week, maybe like every other week, because I had a friend who was an instructor, and like the yoga was very different. It was called like broga, which is a little more. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let's go.
You'd wear your cut off t-shirts.
Yeah,
and,
I
chug beers.
I think there's more.
All right, did everyone bring their Bud Light?
Like we would do like push-ups sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And like ab workout kind of like midway through.
So kind of like a strength,
like a power flow.
Yeah.
So the broga was the broga truly like for bros, or is that like?
I don't know why.
Was that just broga? A fortunate like translation?
No, like what do you mean?
Like it seems to be bro oriented in the fact that you do like more strength.
I think that's the reason it's called broga.
Okay,
yes.
But like, was it called that 3,000 years ago? Is what I'm hoping.
I don't know. It is like a real thing though. It's not like just like the school's thing. But anyway.
So yeah, I'm with you. I would rather. Well, is the teacher like do they like make fun of the kid, or like do they not make fun? Do they,
Do
make
they
jokes
haze
and
you?
stuff? Like a
Yeah,
bro
well,
would?
that's just different yoga teachers' styles.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
true.
made the joke at the beginning about this is something I do not like personally, and this teacher did fine with it. But for some reason, like I get really uncomfortable when the yoga teachers try to be really chummy with the clients, and like
Yeah.
my friend went to Costa Rica, and I guess this is a thing there. But in Costa Rica, like yoga's like really big. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's like a weird like tourism thing. So there was like this like yoga resort where he was near, and sometimes he would just go because he was like doing like a foreign exchange thing.
Right.
So sometimes he would go to the yoga there.
Do you guys have broga by any chance?
Yeah. And he said like people there were like probably like, you know, like snobby-ish
Sure.
people, but you know, that are like really into yoga. And like he said that like they would hug the instructor. There'd be like a line to hug the instructor, and it would be like
That's insane.
He was,
Yeah.
yeah, he
That's
said like it was
insane.
like, and he said it was like minute-long hugs,
Wow.
like
That's weird.
Are
because
you
that's like
kidding me?
no, I'm not kidding, and I believe him. It's like the
That's
type of person that is
so on
into
the
that.
opposite side
You know
of
what
the
I mean? It's
spectrum
not
of where I want my
like us
yoga.
at all. But there are a lot of people who I think are like, I mean, we get like this with every hobby, right? But the people who are so into a specific hobby,
yeah.
like that's like they know everything about yoga and they do all
Yeah.
this stuff. And like, not saying I don't know. I want to make this clear that I'm not trying to like insult people who really like yoga, but I do think there's like just like any category, right? We made fun of the beta mimers in rock climbing for the
And now-
listeners
now
a while
we are
ago.
them.
That's like people who now we almost are them, but the people who like are standing looking at the wall and like moving their hands
yeah.
like they're
Yeah,
about
I've
to
I've
climb.
certainly done that.
Too committed. They look like laughably. Same with the yoga people.
Yeah.
They look like laughably committed to
exactly
any outsider.
laughably committed, and like, you know, if you can't make fun of yourself, then
Yeah.
Right.
like, you know,
But
what's
that,
the point?
I think
But-
the thing with yoga is not only there's like this exercise part of it, which I really like,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
which that's where I would want like a Tony Horton or some
Yeah.
guy who's like making jokes or has a personality when
Yeah.
they're teaching. But there's also like a spiritual side of it.
right.
Which I don't think the two sides need. I don't think there needs to be a huge connection.
I
Like,
think-
it shouldn't be a Venn diagram where the middle
Okay.
is the.
So are you saying
whole
that
thing.
you'd rather a yoga class that's all spiritual, like
No, I don't want
meditative?
that.
Well, no,
But
I-
you'd rather that be separate
Yeah,
from the
that's what he's saying.
strength-based.
Yeah,
one.
I guess I would. I
And
would
then you
rather,
would
and
probably
you would just go to this the
yeah.
regular,
I
like
would
the
ra-
non.
No, not even that it's strength, but not
Or
as a
just like
strength.
maybe-
okay.
It's that
I got
I'm
it.
doing any type of yoga, but they're not saying namaste. They're not talking about my third eye. They're not like, I don't know. They could say like, "Oh, come on, Alex, you freaking idiot," or
See, I
something
don't
like
know.
that. Like,
I think
I want a yoga where that's allowed, or I could like
Yeah.
look at my friends and be like, "Pff, I can't do this." Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't.
I
do
did.
that
I
yesterday.
agree with that. Like there were times where I was kept on looking over at Andrew trying to make little jokes, but never really.
Yeah,
worked out.
that's.
But-
I
frowned
felt
upon, think.
like,
But I will
we
say,
would be- I felt like we were like the class clowns.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and I think that's frowned upon wrongfully.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it should be allowed.
That's
I
true.
agree with you, but that's the same thing. Like we're just trying out the hobby. The people who
Yeah.
are really into
Yeah.
it, I'm sure, get upset when people are
I'll say,
not taking it
yeah.
seriously.
Well,
I
I'll
don't
say
know.
though, like I did leave the class feeling like refreshed, and I don't know.
Oh,
and,
I'm not against.
and
the
I don't know
meditative
if I
part.
would have felt that same if it wasn't that. So, like, I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
I felt like
definitely.
stretched out and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm not against the meditative part, but I guess I want the option. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
they don't have the option.
So-
Maybe Broga is it, but they don't have the option
like I
where
was
I could just
saying
do yoga.
basically like the instructor who was my friend was more like I guess she really liked yoga, but she was more just like I don't know, maybe it was just her personality, but she was kind of just like awkward when doing it, so it was like really disarming, you know what I mean? So you didn't feel
Sure.
like you had to be like
Yeah.
super like
Yeah.
she never was like, you know, like the meditative thing that you were saying.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm like kind of lost for words, but what I'm saying is that it was easier to just be like naturally do it, and additionally I enjoy doing the strength ones more because it is just more fun to me,
Yeah.
I guess. But at the same time I never felt like the pressure of like not saying or even if I would do the exercise a bit wrong or
Right.
you know, if I could speak to my friend or something, like it was super. And
It was
also there was
low-key.
only like 10 people there, so it's
Yeah.
a little easier.
Yeah, this class had what,
See,
probably
that's great.
25, 30 people.
I'm
At
maybe
least.
more.
It was a
pretty
Yeah,
big class.
30 at least,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, she had to clear away for
25.
the exit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Alex. You said you've done hot yoga at
Oh,
some
yeah,
point. in your
so
life?
so I did. Yeah, so I did.
I don't know
Tony
anything about
Horton.
that, I'm
I
curious.
did like YouTube yoga.
Mhm.
I've done like classes in college, and then there was like a random like probably like 2-month period where at work they just paid us to go do hot yoga.
Oh,
once a
wow.
Oh,
week.
3 years.
That's
so
awesome.
It was power flow hot yoga. So it was
Wow.
like
That's great.
you move a ton. I liked it a lot. I liked the hot yoga. I did not like the teacher because she would like I feel like she was almost where I wanted her to be. She would like kind of make jokes. She would like drop the F-bomb occasionally, which I feel like is not very yoga-like. But then at the end, she would sit down and like read passages, which is fine.
That's what I'm saying. That's the Costa Rica thing I was talking about.
That's like the crunchy.
The weird chumminess of like.
I'm not against her doing it because
stuff.
people loved her and that's great. But for me, like, listen, I'm there to sweat, baby.
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah,
it's truly like just two different things. Like we are. I think it's. A, our personalities, and
there's
B,
a business
like
for it, though.
the stage, the stage in our lives, right? Maybe when we're 50 years old, you might want just like a nice relaxing
because yoga
kind
is
of thing.
Good, like really good for you. So without the meditative part, so there should be places for us to go. I feel like
have you heard?
Excluded.
There's a former WWE wrestler. I can't think of the name, but he has a series of yoga videos that he does.
Really?
And I think it might be what you're looking for. I can't remember his name. I'll look it up.
Just look it up.
Oh, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's the only wrestler name.
But
yeah, the hot yoga
I'll look it up
was very enjoyable. I think if I was gonna look for because you feel like you're getting more of a workout just because it's 100 and some odd degrees.
Yeah. You guys have any? You guys hear about
Diamond Dallas?
Diamond Dallas yoga? That's the one.
Okay.
Is it a girl or a guy?
It's a guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's actually ripped.
He does look kind of ripped.
Have you guys heard about the new yoga trend going around?
Baby goat yoga.
Baby goat yoga.
What's that?
It's what it sounds like.
You do
yoga and baby goats crawl up on your back every now and then.
Amongst the goats.
Terrible.
Sounds weird. I don't like it.
There's a bunch of like weird there's like not longboard. What are like the paddleboard yoga?
Oh yeah, stand up paddleboard yoga.
Yeah. There's baby goat yoga.
What the heck's that?
It's again what it sounds
like.
You
do it on a paddleboard.
You
don't do it on a paddleboard. Oh my god, that's not yoga. Quite the pose.
In the river?
You do like yoga as you stand.
Well, it's not like a drifting river. It's usually a calm.
Are you in water or are you just standing
on
a paddleboard?
Yeah.
No, you're in water.
You're in water.
So it's like that's an added balance.
Yeah.
I saw.
It's all for the bit. It's all just like make it different.
I had a roommate in college who did. My college had a. I don't know if it was on paddleboards or like. I guess they were paddleboards, but it was in the pool, and they had yoga on that. And him and his friend. Our gym was set up so bumped into something. You can run on a treadmill.
Careful, Chris.
And see.
Sorry, we're doing this amongst 45 other people doing yoga.
They're not happy at all.
Sorry, you might want to correct yourself. Whoopsies!
I just unplugged everything. But the gym was set up so you could, if you were on a treadmill, you had a view of the pool. And I looked down and it's him, his friend, and like 15 girls. And they're a riot.
Just going, whoa, 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 whoa.
They're clearly like just running the class, having a great time, like following every few minutes. But it looks like a lot of fun.
That sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Okay, so my background on yoga, I love that we got into it right away.
Yeah.
I did, the Yoga X, and then a bunch of classes at UMass, which was like, they really varied. They had like, I'm going to butcher all the names, but it was like Hatha Yoga or Hatha Yoga, probably Hatha. They had, I think, Power Flow. They had Broga. They had the restorative one, which is what we did. There's one other one that's like...
There's another hot yoga that's...
famous.
It's also hot. I can't think of the name. We look like idiots.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. But whatever. Anyway, like basically, there was a lot of variety in the UMass ones, which was really nice. So I could kind of like pick. But then when my friend was an instructor, we just went to that one because like I think just because we liked, like you were saying, Alex, like just like having an instructor that you can relate to.
Just having
I think
a good time
and to not like freak out about is good. And like I do like the person we had yesterday as well, but like
I think she wanted to have a good time, but she knows like she can't because she's doing yoga. Like I bet if we went to a different exercise class, I think there were times where she wanted to crack a joke, but she didn't.
Yeah, I could see that. Like you can if you're running like a hit train, like some sort of like
I think she would have had a better personality.
Yeah, but there's something about that Zen
like
Zen like focus.
Yeah.
You don't want to like I don't know drop it
because there were times where she
for every person that wants the joke, there's probably another one that doesn't.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I just think the idea of doing yoga.
I don't want to be seeing through my third eye and then hear like
a good example of what I don't like. Also, it's called Bikram yoga. That's like the hot yoga.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look up the one at UMass.
A perfect example of why I think it's ridiculous that they have to be so like calm and zen. She kept on calling her butt her sitting bones. Did you guys realize?
Oh yeah,
I
just call it your butt.
Yeah, I thought
that
was
weird.
Or
your behind or your glutes.
Yeah.
Like she was like, all right, now draw your legs into your sitting bones.
I thought she was saying working bones at one point. I didn't know what she was talking about.
I don't know. It just like makes it
Vinyasa yoga. That one's hard. You know that one?
Yeah,
that's
I've
like
heard
P90X yoga.
Vinyasa,
is like Vinyasa
isn't
yoga.
that like flow? Like where you just move
it's
to
like
the next one.
Yeah, but
keep
you're
moving.
like you don't get to rest as much. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like hold the positions as much. You like move into them.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
yeah.
what I did. That was the hot
Yeah.
yoga that I did. It
Okay.
was
Yeah, that's
power
nice.
flow.
Here's my question for
Or
you
power
guys.
vinyasa flow.
When you've done past, do you consider that like a
workout?
workout? You know what I
No.
mean? Like, would you do one of these
No,
classes?
weird enough. I
It's
like
like a
the way
rest day,
that
I'd
the
say.
P90X did it. It was like for P90X,
It's like a rest day,
it was
right?
like yoga. That was an off
like just
day
abs or something maybe.
But like, yeah, or maybe it was like
Something like
one
that.
day. But
Yeah.
it's tough. But it's not
Yeah.
like it's not a high intense workout. It's kind of like how I would think rock climbing. Like I get tired, but it's a different type of workout.
It's like
you know
not
what I mean?
cardiovascular
Yeah.
type fitness.
yeah. So
Yoga?
It's, yeah. So you're definitely
Yeah,
I
getting
agree.
something out of it.
I wouldn't poo-poo it and say like, oh, come on, don't.
I think if you do yoga and like call it your workout for the day, I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think there are
some of the
people
hot
who
yoga is
like,
tough.
yeah. I have a friend
You're
from
right.
college,
You're right. Enough of those.
and
to
he
be
was
honest.
incredibly strong. He said he lifted like twice a week and mostly just did like he was doing like handstands and crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think we got to put yoga back into the like. I just think that having a day,
What do you
not a
mean
day of yoga,
what do you mean
but
back it?
once or twice a week of Alex. We've talked about before our like the best marathon training regimen. What do we think? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
maybe not. I don't think we had a formal conversation.
Yeah, but
this
we
is the
definitely
best.
talked
But
I think we
talked
did an
about-
episode on it.
Well, we talked about what we did.
Yeah.
But what we think is
Well-
the best types of things, and I think that yoga is super important for like.
That's what I'm saying. It's part of the spectrum of fitness. Like,
Exactly.
why the people who say like it's the same with like, well, I don't want to get into veganism, but it's the same thing with like a lot of nutrition talk. Like with the yoga people are like, no, some yoga people are like, oh, why would you lift weights? You should just be doing yoga.
Right.
And the people who are like bros that lift weights are like, oh, yoga's a waste of time. You should be doing this.
Hey,
It's a
they have no
spectrum.
idea about broga.
You gotta get it all in when you, like.
Definitely, yeah.
There's different aspects to fitness, and they both work different types.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Same with running. Like the guy when we talked about our marathon training episode, or rock climbing, the guy who says he runs and rock climbs and that's his marathon training. Like those are two opposite things. They're working like opposite parts of your body basically, but together you're becoming a much
Yeah.
fitter
You're becoming-
person than if you just
exactly.
did one or the other.
You're right.
Definitely.
Like with rock climbing, you know how to work with like tired muscles, and with running, you know how to work with like tired breathing. I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
And I'd say like yoga, I feel like you can gear towards whatever it is your
And
goals
yoga
are. Like
really works that third eye. even.
exactly. But it's like if I went in to a yoga instructor who knew what she was doing and said like, I'm training for a marathon. This is where I'm sore. Can you like give me something that'll help? Like I'm sure they'd guide you through that.
Well, that brings up
Yeah.
another issue I have with I definitely the girl from yesterday.
All right. Do we want
So can we get to like the start?
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
get into the class now.
Sure.
Well, here's the first thing I want to say. We roll up. First thing I hear from Andrew is, "You think it's cool if I bring trail mix?"
yeah, that was weird.
Definitely not cool after being in that class.
Yeah.
Just funny.
I know. I had no idea. That was the same thing. And
I
then
don't think she would have said anything.
as
but-
soon as I left, my brother goes, "Yeah, you shouldn't have worn socks,
Oh,
by
yeah.
the
yeah,
way."
you shouldn't have worn socks.
Why didn't you tell me that?
I didn't know you were wearing socks. I wasn't with you. I was in front.
I literally had no
I have
idea.
I have
like,
no problem with the socks.
I don't usually wear socks, but
You
I
just
think
stood out. Obviously, you were the
my
only one
feet
wearing
were
socks.
kind of cold. I just wanted to wear socks.
Yeah,
like,
the AC was because it was
dude,
it was like 95 yesterday.
That's bad etiquette. You should have told me not to wear
I
socks.
didn't know you were wearing socks.
I literally
and
just
it
felt
was
like
not cold in that room. It was hot AF.
I disagree. I was like free. Were you cold, Chris?
Oh, that
I
was
feel like we
cold,
were
yeah.
right under.
Maybe we
were
were in the back of the room.
Oh,
Yeah.
suck it up.
Alex and
Alex was staying
my
in front of
brother
a
were
heater.
little further
Yeah, I
down.
was gonna
Alex
open-
was trying to make it a Vikram situation.
No, I'm sure I would have been fine, but I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't think to take my socks off. Another thing, don't hate on me, but this was the only yoga class I've been in where we didn't spray down and wipe down the mats. That's kind of gross. I don't want my
We
bare
weren't-
feet on
We
it.
weren't sweating. I understand. I think
Yeah.
maybe we should have.
Mhm.
But one, a lot of people brought their own mat, and two,
That's true.
we were just on it. We weren't sweating.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I
It's still,
kinda
you
agree,
still,
yeah.
if you have your bare feet on
Yeah,
it, and then you
I
put
do
your
agree.
face on it later.
You put your face on it?
Yeah, you do not.
Ugh, dude, no, I had my socks over my face. I had to cover my face.
I don't
with
know if
my-
I
Dirty
did
sock.
retrospect.
I did a couple times, but I figured that you just wash it, you spray
All
it
right,
down.
I
so
want to
it's
get into
clean.
the class because I
Whatever,
don't think the teacher was good.
Oh, really?
She was fine. I have nothing against her, but I've had better yoga teachers for sure.
I liked her. I just think my issue, as I mentioned earlier, is that I don't think that this type of yoga is particularly fun for me because, one, it was super long, I thought. And two,
Yeah.
like, I guess I disagree with what Chris said earlier. Like, I didn't really feel like when I left, I didn't feel that refreshed, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes in yoga, when I leave, I feel like really good.
It might have been the socks.
Yeah,
It
probably.
could have been. It also could have been
Your
just
fourth
like
and fifth eyes, your feet.
just like a new atmosphere, right? Like that's
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
that's
uncomfortable
true.
That's
initially.
true.
But like I definitely liked it.
I
I
didn't
think-
mind the yoga she did. Like the yoga was fine. I just felt like yoga's not her main class, so she wasn't as. I didn't think she was as comfortable teaching yoga as other yoga teachers I've had.
See, I thought
Horton,
she
for
was.
example.
This was my first yoga class, so I don't have a lot to compare to. Like, I thought she did a pretty good job, but I think it seemed like the class was a little big, or at least the setup wasn't perfect. Where like there were times where I couldn't see what she was doing.
we could not see her from the back.
That was a big part too. Like
Yeah.
she did. I just think. You're right. There's too many usuals
I
in
think-
the class. She's
yeah.
catering more to the usuals. Because I don't want to say she's bad at doing yoga. I think she was good. And I think
Mhm.
she seems like a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there was one
I
point
didn't
where
flow with
like we were doing this one that was like, it was kind of like that like crisscross applesauce, but then like
That was
imagine like pulling your legs on either
It
direction.
was
Yeah.
one, impossible to do.
It just
and two,
felt completely wrong.
She didn't
basically.
even explain how
and
to
she
do
didn't
it.
explain how to do
Yeah.
it. So then like I remember Chris and I were just like,
I didn't
like,
even try.
I was like, what is going on? And that's when she came over and talked to
Yeah.
us. Like, are you guys doing it okay?
I
And
literally
was
took-
like,
I
I don't know.
I
Like,
gave up. I took my phone out and I went on Instagram. I was like, this
Put
is-
your socks
This
on.
is pointless.
It's just- yeah, that's your way of rebelling. Like,
Like,
I'm done with this.
She should have
One sock
said.
on.
I think a practiced yoga teacher would say how to do it. Get into this position. It's like crisscross applesauce,
Yeah.
but to the extreme. And then she should have been like, if that's too advanced, do this pose. It's similar,
Yeah.
or do this.
Yeah.
That's why what I was going to say before. The point of yoga, which she kind of said at the beginning, like there are certain muscles that she's trying to stretch out. She should be saying like, all right, this one should be. This
Yeah.
one like should be stretching.
And
your hamstrings.
oftentimes-
and then she could
Oftentimes
say,
I
like,
didn't know what I was doing, and she would say it after like a minute, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I don't feel that.
I
Oh
just
now
feel
I
like
do."
With
Yeah.
yoga in general, they try to hide the fact that you're like stretching certain muscle groups.
Yeah.
Why can't they just come out and say like, this one's great for your glutes?
I agree with
that.
that.
They have
Think
to
about-
like sneak their stupid terms in.
I thought it was
Oh,
kind of.
whoa.
idiots.
Careful, Alex.
I'm
Like,
gonna,
why
de-
can't
I'm
they
gonna,
come out?
I'm gonna defend our instructor. I think one thing that I really like
You have
that
a
she
crush
did.
on her, Chris. We know that.
Hell yeah. No, we'd be doing a pose, and I'd do it for maybe like 5 to 10 seconds, and then she'd say something like, "You're gonna feel this pressure here, like." You're probably using your hands, and like you're probably like gritting your teeth, or like she'd give
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sort, and she was always right.
That was
And then
nice,
she'd be
yeah.
like, maybe try this, and it was like, oh, this is a whole new way to.
Yeah. I
It
don't
was-
mean. I guess the term thing is my issue with yoga in general, not
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah,
with her.
That's fair.
My issue with her is that she didn't describe the poses well enough. But I don't blame her because, like we said, there's a lot of usuals.
My
She
issue
did
with
nail
her.
the gritting teeth part.
My
which is
issue
good.
with her is at one point I was doing some sort of pose, and she stood right in front of me with her feet in my face for like a solid 30
I know, I
seconds.
didn't love that either. Listen,
No,
I
I'm just kidding. That's fine. but
I was
it
doing
did
the pose,
happen.
and she laughed at me.
The funny thing that
I was doing the pose so bad that she asked me to leave.
the funny thing that happened though was at one point we were doing like a lunge. I don't know if you
Yeah.
noticed this happened, Andrea. And then she's like, "All right, now do it with your left foot." And then I'd been
I
doing
did
it with my left
notice
foot,
this,
so
yeah.
the whole class is doing one thing,
Oh,
and I'm like,
no.
"So I do the other one." And then she like walks over and she's like, I was like, "No, we're good, we're good."
Yeah, like
Yeah.
did you like she was like you're supposed to switch feet, and Chris was like, oh this is
Yeah.
funny actually. Chris was like, oh yeah, I just did the other one opposite, but like it was one of those
Yeah.
ones that you had to like twist on a
Oh,
certain
that's what it
side.
was, yeah.
So
Oh,
Chris
boy.
was like
I was twisting the wrong
basically like
side.
everyone was twisting to the left, right? But if you were
Oh,
using the
God.
right
But I was-
leg,
yeah.
like Chris was using the opposite leg.
She
so
was
he
definitely
just, like sorry, I'm like saying this all scattered, but he
Yeah.
was just not doing it right at all. Basically, like he
Yeah,
was not
yeah.
stretching anything because
Yeah.
he was like just like leaning
Yeah.
towards.
I was
the side
I
his
was just
leg
kind of
on or
like
something.
looking one way.
Yeah. So then he.
That's good that she corrected you.
She
though.
did
Yeah,
correct
that
him.
is
Yeah.
good.
But
That was funny.
all right, guys, we are rapidly
Ooh.
approaching the grand
40-minute mark?
pause.
Yeah, the grand pause.
The grand pause. Sorry to cut you off early.
Hey, we could do a little om during the pause.
I'm into
Okay.
that.
It's a yoga thing, right?
I'm kind of nervous because I don't know. I'm just looking at Audacity and it looks a little trippy, is what I would say, but. We'll
Well,
see. I
well,
mean, we'll
listeners
we'll
won't
find
know
out.
because-
The listeners won't know
Yeah,
if
we'll
it's not
know.
working.
Todd
'cause
will
this will
know.
never.
All right, how
release
close
later.
Wait, hold on. Todd is
We're 30
unplugging.
seconds away.
Todd is unplugging and plugging the audio cord back in.
All right, so we're now 20 seconds away from
Okay.
the grand pause.
Anything more about yoga?
Well, one thing. I'll say for later. I'll take more than 20 seconds.
Save it for the next one. All right, ready for the countdown? Here we go. 10, 9.
I like that they gave you
8.
blankets. I'll say that.
All right, we are returning from the grand pause. How was it?
It was a fun pause.
It was good, right? I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
everything's good.
You know what? I take back everything I said about yoga. All the pros,
You
all the
cooled off a
cons
bit?
have switched.
Let's
Yeah.
start fresh.
Let's restart the episode.
My third eye is alive.
The blankets
It's
were
alive
good,
and
Chris.
well.
Yeah.
I did like that as well.
Nice little
I
touch.
feel like I don't know. Once again, maybe this is like super
Well,
nitpicky.
wait, hold on. What was were the blankets that good? What
No,
was
I
this
don't know.
part?
They
Just-
like. I wish she said. I guess like you can use the blankets at the end, even though maybe it's like
Wait,
so obvious. But You know, at the very end, you're like you can like wrap yourself in the blanket.
Oh,
to
really?
Like, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Is
Yeah.
that what you meant, Chris?
No.
Wait, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, you are. A bunch of people did it.
I think you can. I think she like.
But she never said that. I wish
She never
did.
said that. I just left
The blanket
mine.
was used more as kind of like
It was like
to
a
prop your
pad.
back
It was
up.
a pad, yeah.
like a pad.
Right, yeah,
a little bit
I
of
did
support.
like
Good
that.
for your knees too.
Mhm.
Like, cause
Yeah.
Do you ever have that? I don't know how people do that. Truthfully, like some guy in front of me was just kneeling on the yoga mat. Like, it hurts so much for
Did
me
we
to do
kneel
that.
often? I guess
It was at the
like
lunge
the hip
part. It was the
stretches,
like
yeah.
lunge part. I think.
Yeah.
I was like,
My-
ow! It was at the beginning.
Another big issue I have with yoga is I hate sitting on the ground. I cannot get comfortable when I sit on the ground.
Oh, really?
I need like every time I sat on the ground, I had to pop a yoga block under my under my sitting bones.
Your sitting bones.
And yoga, you sit on the ground the whole freaking time.
That's true.
So it's like it's so uncomfortable.
I think you just have a bigger issue with yoga, Alex.
I think
than
you have
the
a-
specific
that's a
class.
real
I think
issue,
you might
like-
just have a bony sitting bone.
No,
Yeah.
it's not my butt that's uncomfortable. It's like I think I'm too tight. I need to do more yoga.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It's a catch-22.
Dude,
I don't
that's
want
what
to do
I mean.
yoga.
That's what I mean with
'cause
the
it's
marathon
uncomfortable.
training thing. Like adding yoga to, not even for marathon training, for training,
For
right?
life.
Adding yoga onto
Training
your
for life.
regimen. And this is where I'm going to go, like, I guess I'll save it for ratings a bit, but where I would put yoga over meditation for me is the small workout aspect for some, or even a larger workout aspect
I
for
agree
like
with that.
flow or vinyasa,
I don't-
where you can add this workout that is supposed to make you more flexible and less like tight all the
Classic
time.
two birds, one stone scenario. You
It
get your
is,
meditation in and you get your flexibility in.
Yeah.
However, I do agree with you about the whole like I don't even know what it's called. Yoga terms, yoga.
Yeah, let's all just listen.
Yeah.
We're all honest people.
Yeah.
Let's chuck that out the window. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with yoga. I'm just being honest with the parts I don't like about it.
Yeah.
You guys are afraid to say
Oh,
what you don't
one
like
thing I
about
totally
it.
forgot to say
pansies.
is I
Chris,
didn't,
all
I
Chris
didn't
has been
like,
talking about is his stupid blankets.
I wish that like I feel like she didn't use the music enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that,
I'd say I
did you
think
guys care or
I think
no?
the music was interesting. One thing I will say that was cool about this was it started at 7:45 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended 9:15. So the sun and the room was set with like open outdoor
windows,
lighting.
yeah, that was kinda
so
cool.
it got dark and they would like kind of like light up the room. I think
Yeah.
she did a good job at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
that's nice.
yeah, you're right. I think like she was playing music periodically, but maybe could have done more. But at one point it took me kind of out of it because I realized that it was a like classical violin version of "Stay with Me."
Yeah, is that what it was? Yeah, I was
by
like, I know
Sam
this song.
Smith. I was like, this is a little weird.
I wish that personally I just like the music a lot more. I don't care what kind of music it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a little
What
bit,
do you-
but
You want like trap music.
Wait, what do you wish she did better then?
I just don't
Louder?
think she played it enough. No, like at the beginning there was no
you're
music,
right.
and like for me that's really uncomfortable. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing where I feel like I'm in this room where I can't talk, I can't make a joke.
Can't keep
Yeah.
my
To
socks
Chris.
on.
I can't keep my socks on, and I'm just like. But with the music, I all of a sudden feel like I can get like lost in my thoughts a
Yeah.
little more.
I agree
I
with
feel
that.
like I'm kind of on
I see
edge
that.
without
Good
it.
point.
I don't know. It's a stupid complaint, but that's the truth. Maybe it's just something I'm used to. You know?
Yeah, I think maybe it's like either more music or more talking. She did talk like throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
but-
You know what? I think this is the issue that I have with
do
this
you got?
class and a lot of yoga classes.
What do you got?
Same with the concert. You go to a Beyonce and Jay-Z concert, and it's just like any other concert. They're just playing their music.
Mm-hmm.
You go to an indie concert, and it's a little bit different. This yoga class felt too much like a pop concert. It's just like every other yoga class. She played the same music. She said the same terms. Do something a little bit different, you know?
That's fun.
I think some people like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
people
this,
like it.
yeah,
but
this
that's
was
just
my
not for
first
me.
yoga. So if I do like 5 more classes, they're all the same, then I'll have the same.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't
Complaints.
if someone offered another yoga class
Mm-hmm.
that was like $1 cheaper, I would be like, yeah, I'll just go to that one then. There was nothing really in this one that I thought like, ooh,
Yeah,
I gotta
for
go
me,
to
I
this
would
one.
not frequent this class because I think it was not because of the instructor, but more because of the type of yoga that we did.
Yeah,
it
that
was
too.
super like relaxed and like it really, truthfully, it felt like it picked on the aspects that I'm weakest at, which is like balance
That's
and
good then,
like.
though.
Yeah, maybe that's
That's
a
what
good
you
thing.
need.
I know, but like I wanted to do like
I
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
flex.
I
I
like
wanted to
the
show
ab
off.
stuff. I like sweating a little more. Maybe I don't know.
See, if she added just a little bit more, you would be like, it would be just enough to be like, oh, she's a good instructor.
Yeah, exactly.
She
Yeah.
just didn't really do anything.
I also
that, like,
think
made
it
her
went
stand
super
out.
long. I feel like we were cooling down for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did
And
take
that
a
I
while.
didn't
That's
like either.
Savasana. Ugh.
Yeah.
I was there for literally 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Should we get into ratings?
Yeah. Are you all set, Chris? Do you have anything more to say?
Yeah, I can transition right into.
Right into ratings?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. So for the listeners at home, we love to rate the hobbies on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the
No,
best.
1 is the worst.
1 being the
You
worst,
said this last time.
10 being the best. And we also give a yay or nay on whether we will continue the hobby. So, Chris, I'll have you start.
So first thing I feel like we should mention is this yoga was done through the gym that we're all members
Right,
of.
through our rock gym.
Rock climbing gym.
Yes.
Which was a plus for me. I could go back anytime and do
Completely
it for free.
Yep.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a plus. I think that this...
What was the point of bringing
Really
that up?
desperately looking for
well,
a plus.
I think it makes it a little bit more likely that I'll continue it.
Mhm.
If it was like
sure.
$10, I probably won't ever do
Yeah,
it.
right.
True.
Right. Like, this is literally a benefit to what you already have. There's
exactly.
nothing more you need to pay.
So it's like I almost should do it to make my money's worth.
Right.
I think that I really enjoyed the class. I think I liked the chillness, the easiness of it. I agree with what you said.
Okay.
I'm interested in trying a class that's a little bit more difficult because I think it would be obviously more difficult, a little bit more of a workout. But this is something that I could see myself doing I don't think I could do it every week, but maybe every couple of weeks, maybe a
Working
few weeks.
into your routine.
And I really did I truly left feeling refreshed. We did it on Monday, which for me is typically a stressful day at work. And I came home, did that, left feeling great.
Yeah.
Left I don't know.
That's good.
I also want to say, probably just me, but something about the fan blowing in my face, I found myself tearing up a lot. Anyone else?
All right. Can we stop the
It's just me, right, guys?
forever?
I don't know if it was just the
Is that "Stay With Me" by Sam Smith?
I don't know if it was the climate or just me.
I can vouch for
getting
the
emotional.
fan in our face where
Yeah.
Chris and I were for sure.
I can vouch for the fact that Chris was sobbing.
That's why it was so cold for you
I did
guys.
not tear up.
Yeah.
It was really cold, yeah. I should have used the blanket.
There was a point where I thought it was too hot in the room.
Wow.
I was sweating.
Jeez.
And it wasn't because of the pose.
We
So-
should have switched spots, Alex.
I am definitely going to try it again. I'd like to try a different class, but I could see myself revisiting this class, so I have to give it a yay. And I will go with a 7 yay. I don't
Okay.
think I can see myself doing some form of yoga maybe once a week,
Okay.
but that's all.
I'll
Alex?
take it away.
Yep.
Yep. Interesting class. I don't think we went with listener of the show, Matt, former guest of the show, and he texted us beforehand saying it's an easy class, so you should do a different one too for the podcast. I don't think this was. I guess it wasn't hard yoga, but I wouldn't say it's specifically for beginners. I think it just
it's-
happened to
I
be
agree.
restorative yoga.
It's just
That's
restorative yoga. That's just the term.
The focus of this yoga
but that's what
isn't to
all
be
he
difficult.
meant was that all he meant was that it's not
You'll be able to
you're
do
not going to
everything.
sweat or you
Right.
know what I mean.
I don't think the point of yoga is to challenge yourself.
For sure.
There are yogas that's the point of.
I think he just meant be well-rounded.
He thought this was a challenge episode.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I just think the fact that calling it easy is is wrong. It's just the focus is on restorative yoga,
Yeah.
getting those long holds of the poses, and the mental part. And
Because you can always get better at the mental part. You can always
improve your
It's
third
true.
eye.
Really.
Oh
Listen,
yeah, that was one
If
thing.
you're
Oh, yeah.
20/20/20 with that third eye, then you should be the instructor.
One thing I meant to mention too is she said something during the practice, I guess you call it, where she said you're away from your screens, you're whatever,
Yeah.
And I thought about it, when most of my workouts are running where I have a phone that I listen to music,
Gotta
and
just
then
take that phone out.
and then most of my day I'm looking at a computer. So this is truly
Yeah.
an hour where I'm not touching my phone. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. All right. Save it for your rating.
Wait. One
Of the next
thing I
episode.
wanted to add too. So to get back into the hobby, how did you guys do on the breathing? I feel like I did
Oh,
so
yeah.
bad. On
Awful.
that.
That's an intermediate yoga.
I felt
thing, though.
okay,
That was
but
not
yeah,
the-
I think
I just
I
couldn't
could
get
use more
there was one
practice.
part where she was an inhale all the way up. I'd be done inhaling when I was
That way up.
sitting down still, and I'd have to stand up and be I don't know.
Just, take
There was a
breaths.
part where I was
Breathing
breathing out through the pose, and she looked at me and said, "Excuse me, you should be breathing in."
No,
I was like, "What the heck?" No, I'm just kidding. But apparently, that's a big part of yoga is mastering the breathing.
Yeah.
part.
definitely.
Like
yeah.
we
There's a
only
lot to improve.
dipped in about
Mhm.
50%, if that. The breathing adds so much more.
Sure.
So yeah, the screen part I do agree with. I think the fact that it's the 2 birds, 1 stone scenario of you're getting your meditation in and you're
Yeah.
getting yoga in
Yeah.
is great. I want to give it a high rating because I like the idea of yoga, but the truth is I don't like what most yoga is. I don't like the terms. Not that I'm against it, but it just I can't see
not for
myself I could see myself dying to go for a run or dying to go rock climbing.
Yeah.
But I can't see myself being I got to get some yoga in. And there are people out there that are like that. So I don't want to lie to our listeners and say I should give it a high rating. So maybe in the next few years when my yoga business breaks through and we have real terms, not the stupid terms, maybe I'll change the rating. But right now I'll give it a 5 I'll say yay because I can see myself doing like Chris Jericho's yoga or whoever that wrestler is, or
Rey
something,
Mysterio's
or
yoga.
something like that. Like if I could find a YouTuber who has
Yeah.
like a cool personality that I mesh with, I could see myself doing like
Yeah.
15 minutes of yoga in the morning when I had time.
Okay.
But I can't see myself going to a class more than once,
See,
maybe
I
once
think
a month.
I think as we mentioned so many times is that
I wouldn't pay specifically for a
there's
class.
so much time. There's only so much time in the day. We have a
Yeah.
9 to 5, right?
I'm just trying to be realistic.
So right, if you're gonna be dedicating an hour and a half every week to yoga, you gotta like it. I guess
That's-
you
yeah,
gotta like
sure.
it. So maybe you're not there yet. I guess is what I'm
Right.
saying. Okay.
I like the idea of it.
So for me, actually, I guess I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna go 7.5. Yay! I actually do like yoga a lot. I think that it's something I want to incorporate more. The only negatives, really, I think, are the thing you were saying, Alex, about just like the whole atmosphere. I think can be a little intimidating /
Yeah.
like not really my style.
Yeah.
However, I do like the class more than the YouTube or whatever, or like on your own.
Yeah.
I just
agree
feel
with
like
that too.
it's just like a better atmosphere for me to like be
You
focused.
feel like
I
you're
think.
getting more out of it.
Yeah, like if I'm trying it on my own, I just feel like I'm like kind of half-assing it, you
Yeah.
know.
Sitting bones. Thank you.
Yeah. half
Half
sitting
sitting
bones.
bones in
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. It was good going with you guys because there would be little moments where like I would look at Chris and I would just think like, ooh, pod later, like 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 there's like it was pretty funny. As soon as it ended, Alex ran over to us basically and was like, save it for the pod, save it for the pod.
But you know what? The truth is, there was nothing really that came up that I was like, oh, I got to talk about this in the pod.
Yeah.
And that's good and bad because
Yeah.
that means the teacher was focused and not doing
I
anything
did try to
stupid.
correct one Joe Changer. I don't know if you heard it, but
What?
she came over and was like helping you with the pose.
Mhm.
And I said something about like, this guy has some tough hammies.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if she heard it.
So I think that's very highly frowned upon.
Yeah, I agree.
to do that.
I agree. And it probably
But-
took everyone out of it.
But that's nice. That's good though. I would want that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
Thanks, dude.
After my hammy pull.
Yeah.
By the way, I should be getting those combine times in soon. Check it out. Need you guys as a witness, or you won't believe it. Anyway, that's our ratings. Good ratings, guys. Always love talking to you guys
Did
about
you give it a
yoga.
yay or a nay?
Yay.
Nice.
7.5 yay. I think I'll definitely have to see where it fits into my life in the future, but I definitely want to continue yoga. I think more so like higher yay than any than a lot of other hobbies we've done, just because I feel like it's manageable to like do. You know what I mean? It's
Oh, yeah,
manageable
definitely.
to like do frequently.
Mhm.
Okay. Next section of the show is called What's on Your Mind, where we talk about what is on our mind. This week, as longtime listeners know, we always get a theme song submission from the fans. This week, we have a theme song comes from Adrienne.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to True, your 30-day yoga journey. I am your guide, Adrienne, and
All right. Thank you, Adrienne, for the theme song. It seemed like there was almost something afterwards,
Seems
but
like she's just plugging her
it was
YouTube channel.
kind of weird
Kind
that
of weird, yeah.
she only sent in that such a small clip, but that's all right. I mean, thanks for the theme song, Adrienne, and we can get on to what's on your mind. As listeners at home know, we talk about what's on our minds.
Mm-hmm.
Always great talking to you guys about what is on our minds. And let's have Alex start today.
Thank you.
Chris started ratings.
Thanks for having me. All right.
Chris also looks
And-
like
and
he's
who-
still
who are you?
thinking.
Yeah.
Chris is like,
What's on my
thanks.
mind? What's on my
Shoot,
I'm looking at a blank list.
All right, Alex, what do you have?
so I went to the grocery store today,
Mm-hmm.
picked up some items,
Mm-hmm.
went to the checkout. Usually I'm a self-checkout boy.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Just is a little bit easier. I could keep my headphones in, like we've talked about on a previous What's on Your Mind segment. I like wearing headphones in the grocery store. But I think to myself, I'll go to the express lane because the self-checkout had a lot of people waiting.
15 items or less.
I think it was 14 items less, and I had
Ooh.
15, so I thought, I could push it.
Ouch.
No, I'm just kidding. And I put my items on the conveyor belt,
Mhm.
and I look up, and the cashier has a name tag, and it says Mamacita.
Wow.
And like it crossed my mind. Probably a very high chance that that's not her real name.
Probably in it.
Yeah.
Should I have said like? Does she want people to say like?
I
Mamacita?
feel like I have a scenario like this that I like can't quite remember. I might have even mentioned it on the podcast. I think like the guys, I don't know. I think the guys said Poppy, And it was like the
I
same
was thinking.
thing.
I was thinking.
like-
What if I had a name tag that said Poppy? Like,
Would you want someone?
I'm
to
not
that?
I know that people say, "Ooh, Mamacita." They must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't because I just wasn't in the mood to talk. Maybe if I had friends there, I would have.
It was a woman.
It was a woman.
Okay.
But like,
If it was a
I don't
guy,
know. I don't
that
even
is-
know.
That
if-
is worth saying. I think.
I don't even know if I
Yeah.
have a question.
That'd be
I-
unique.
like
it's just
interesting.
something that happened. Like
Right.
I'm still kind of awestruck. Like
It's just certainly on my mind.
yeah, that's it. Like, should I have said something? Did she want? Is the reason that she has it there for me
My
to say
guess-
something? Is that her real name?
My guess is that it's probably like an inside joke with the coworkers, and they
Mm-hmm.
printed it off for her. You know.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
think it's also like
just what's the point of the name tag?
there
then?
could be like just something like it isn't worth mentioning, but it's just there. You know what I mean? Like
It just brightened my day a little bit.
Yeah,
You don't like to talk about it.
that's actually what I'm saying.
Like
I don't
a
know
s-
if you're
a
being
little name-
sarcastic.
no,
or not.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just like there's nothing to like say. It's just like kind of cool.
I'm
like,
starting
oh,
to think that there should be a
okay.
grocery store chain
Mm-hmm.
that gives their employees funny nicknames on their name tags. Bart Simpson-esque, Seymour Butts, Amanda Hug and Kiss. That'd be great. That'd brighten my day.
I used to-
Mamacita.
I used to sometimes to spice up my day at work. I would trade name tags with someone else just because it was kind of fun.
Back in high school.
Back in high school.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Make it
Chris
interesting.
would say he would do that, but truthfully, there was another guy named Chris there. They kept switching.
There was another guy. I worked with three Chris's.
There
at
was
one point.
3 Chris's and a Poppy there.
And I had a fourth friend, probably the one I changed name tags with, who would go, Chris picked up a call on this line, and it would be him like, no, the other Chris. Ugh.
Mm.
Funny move.
Classic.
Good time. You need that through your work day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, Chris, what's on your mind?
This one's a little weird. So I've been playing
boy.
chess on the chess app.
Let's
chess.com.
go.
Just like I'm
And I recently lost a game
Mm-hmm.
to a fellow by the name of Stinky McShart. Should I feel as bad as I do about it?
Yeah, that's funny. That's a funny name.
That's funny.
Imagine having. So I have a few questions about Stinky McShart.
Don't say that.
One, he was way better than me, which is frustrating. Two, can you imagine how old do you think this guy was?
Yeah, right. It's
11?
probably- I'd say like
At what point
under
is it a
13,
problem?
Under 13 or like 75.
No way he's 75.
Because imagine if you found out that was my name.
Yeah.
Through the grapevine.
Yeah, I don't think you should feel bad thinking that he's a
That's true.
young chess player. I
He
mean,
might be an up and coming. Yeah.
I don't think we're.
I was
chess-
playing-
I don't think any of us are
along
would be
the
in
same
a high
vein.
percentile of
Yeah.
the young chess players.
I was playing chess. I sent you guys a snap of this, and this guy's name was Handsome Skinny. I thought that was such a good name.
Wait, didn't you chat him up or something?
I
Or is that someone else?
messaged him and said I like nice name or something, and he said like I know.
You should see my fake account, Stinky McShart.
But it's like I don't know. I think the idea of I don't know. It's chess.com.
I'm also more
you can have whatever name you want.
I'm very
you know?
intrigued in the type
Very
of person though
stupid.
who will make who that's what they jump to. You know?
Yeah, that's wicked. That's just
my
like,
name's
why?
when I need a default name, it's usually like my initials and some numbers or something boring.
Oh, you have H sandwich, Andrew.
Yeah, that's a long story.
That's
I don't
long
think the
story.
stinky
H
is it
sandwich
sticky
14
or stinky
on chess.com.
Stinky.
I don't think it's the Stinky McShart is that weird for a
Oh, it's the
online username.
yeah, it is. Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying it's no different than H sandwich.
No, it's not. H sandwich is at least like tame.
All right, yeah, I guess
know,
it's
no
at
one's
least
gonna,
user
like-
friendly.
it's
no
more
one's gonna tell their
inappropriate.
5-year-old to plug their ears when they say who they're playing in chess if it's H sandwich.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know what you mean though. I
Yeah.
guess
It's just as ridiculous.
I
It's the
think
same thing. It's
idea
like a
is
random
that-
thing.
Right. It's
Anything
just-
that's not
it's
your
just
name is on the same.
There's
playing
no
field.
way Mr. McShart is going to get translated back to the true man behind
Sure.
the curtain or woman.
Unless that's the real name. Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah. Stinky like in Hey Arnold,
Yeah.
right? And McShart.
His last name in the tracks.
Hey, if your last name is McShart, do not name your kid Stinky.
Yeah.
Stinky's
Please.
gonna get a million chess.com requests from all of our
Yeah,
listeners.
please play him. He's pretty good.
If he's any good.
All right. Yeah, I just think that it's the bottom line is it's an anonymous name.
Yeah.
You could be whatever
I think
you want.
similar to Alex's case, just something that's certainly on
Something
the mind.
that's-
Yeah, the
that's
same
just on your
thing.
mind.
Just brighten your day a bit.
Yeah,
Same
it
with-
didn't bright. Kind of stunk it
Made
up
it
a
worse.
little.
Same with handsome skinny. Like
Handsome Skinny
It's
did
nice.
brighten my day. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Here's what's on my mind. Not really brightening your day related, but I was riding my bike the other day. We did the try, obviously. I was riding my bike. I remember thinking, well, like, there was a point where we could not ride a bike, right?
Yep.
Riding a bike is like I don't know. Can you imagine like
It's like riding a bike.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine if you never learned how to ride a bike? Like here's another example. If you never learned how to swim, I think you could swim, but I think you'd be pretty bad. You know what I mean? You'd have a tough time maneuvering if you have no idea how to swim.
That's sure.
What I'm saying is, imagine you fast forward your life to 18 years old and you don't know how to ride a bike and you don't know how to swim. If you like, I don't know, I just have a super hard time believing that there is an actual adult out there who can get on a bike and not be able to balance. You know what I mean? Anyone can ride a bike.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
I think
You
we
know
need,
what I'm
I think
saying?
we need to test this because I feel like it's. I don't. Yeah, maybe is it just I was.
Like,
It took
is
a
it
little
just-
while because I
did-
was 4
did
years
we-
old or
right,
whatever.
Like, did we condition it when we were younger, or like I think
I think it'd
I'd
be-
say 5
yeah.
minutes. I think if
Yeah.
I'd never ridden a bike up till now, and you give me a bike, I think I'd be able to ride it cleanly in 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
how can you not? You know what I'm saying? It just kind of made me realize, like,
I'm wondering if there are adults out there who have never ridden a bike.
I think so. What
think
if you
there are
what if you
too.
grew up in like a city or something?
I know. I have a friend
That doesn't-
who.
what does that do? What does that affect?
you probably
Oh,
more
you don't
likely
have
to
like
ride
the
a bike.
open space to learn, really. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
But you got to be.
I
You
don't
got to
think
be
that would
weaving
change
through
it.
the city streets.
I
to
would
get to
say, what
class.
if you grew up
Without a
without
bike.
without humans around?
I have a friend who she grew up. Maybe she'd biked a little when she was a kid, but like didn't do it in her life, and ended up in a situation where she was like biking with people, and I forget exactly. Like she said that she was like not looking forward to it because it was like she isn't good at it, and she fell a couple times. But
Like that, I think that's crazy.
she said she was able to like get by, but it was like
How? Like, I just don't get it. This is probably really ignorant, but I truthfully don't get it. Like,
I could see.
I could see it being similar to like the yoga class. Honestly, like there were things that were I could do all of them. It just took like a little bit of like
okay, and here's my other
Focus.
example. Like ice skating. Do you think ice skating is the same or
I think
different?
that's a good example.
Because hockey player, when I get on ice skates, I'm consciously thinking like, don't fall. I guess like I'm not.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
I think
not
that's
like
a good example.
I'm not like I'm not terrible, but it's certainly no different to me than walking. But when I get on a bike, or it's certainly
Wait,
different.
what?
Sorry, it's certainly different than walking or running.
Yeah.
But when I get on a bike, like there's
You're
no
not
there's
thinking about-
no part of my brain that is thinking like do not tip over or something.
It's probably
You know what I'm
that
saying?
sounds right.
But
But I'm starting to think when Chris said your friend fell,
Mm-hmm.
like if you're riding closely alongside other people,
Yeah.
and like you're changing speeds a lot, like I could see being like weary, like
Yeah, and I also
Yeah.
don't. I
You know
don't
when
think.
you're
I
like-
don't think she like went over the handlebars every time, but I think she like maybe I don't know.
I could see if you're biking very slowly and there are other cyclists around you, I would be afraid I was gonna fall.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But I agree. Like I don't even know the last time I put on ice skates.
Yeah.
I certainly would fall if I tried ice skating
Yeah.
today.
But
Mostly 'cause the
you'd probably be
ice
able
is
to.
thawed.
You'd probably be able to ice skate.
You would,
you'd
yeah.
think.
I guess.
would.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Another thing.
Now I'm starting to think I'm the ice
you
skater.
think-
I'm your friend, but with ice skating.
So I think like in my head, intuitively, I think ice skating is different and it's got to be harder than riding a bike. But hockey players, there's no
Yeah.
way when a hockey player is ice skating, he's thinking about staying balanced.
That's right.
Similarly,
And they probably started when they were 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
Interesting. Wow.
maybe that's the thing. Maybe
That is a astute.
maybe
finding.
if we did not bike until later in our lives, it would be tougher for us to learn initially.
I'm starting to think the credit is due to the creator of the bicycle.
Mm.
It's such a beautiful invention that it applies to every single human. It's like ingrained in our DNA to
Yeah.
know to be able to
Wow.
balance on two wheels.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
I like it.
I could believe that.
Wait,
That's
what?
it.
that it's ingrained in our DNA?
That like the bike is perfect for human DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Don't say you just had a
DNA. Just
5
say
minute long
just a
monologue
just a weird thing
about
to say.
Stinky McShart.
You said bicycles are ingrained in our
DNA
DNA.
is funny. Saying DNA
Yeah,
is
like
funny.
you have to know how to. Your body has to balance when you're walking. So why is that any difference?
No, yeah.
It still has
It
to know
makes
how to
sense.
balance when you're on a bike.
Okay.
All right, I'm done with this podcast. You guys suck. You guys brought up this conversation. Why is that so silly?
I don't know. It's just funny. All right. All right, Mr. McShart. What's
What?
you okay? You okay?
You want me to say what's on my mind again?
Yeah,
You're
round
getting all
two.
red
You guys
again.
suck.
Tell me about Mamacita.
All right.
Okay. Are we good? Are we
Yeah.
ready
Yeah,
to
I wanna end the
have Chris hit
podcast.
us with the plugs? Come
Yeah.
on, Alex.
The last
Lighten up a
time.
little bit, huh?
All right. Yeah, just
All right.
hit us with the stupid plugs so I can go home.
Shoot Alex a nice email.
Yeah.
Tell him we're
he
sorry.
seems upset.
You guys are making it worse.
Maybe sign Chris and Alex.
Send him a
Andrew.
binky.
Our website's I Need a Hobby
A
Pod.
what?
Pacifier, whatever. I call it a binky.
Oh, I think I said pinky.
A binky. I Need a Hobby Pod.
See, like that was dumb, and no one said anything about that.
What?
All right, never mind. Let's finish this
I need a
podcast.
hobbypod.com if you like this episode. Hopefully it came out all right. Hopefully Todd wasn't tinkering with it. Maybe he should have done it.
Yeah,
You
we'll
can
see.
rate and review. We're on Spotify, iTunes, social medias. I need a hobbypod. Pretty much everywhere.
All right, see you next week.